pricing your art without undervaluing it. Prints, commissions, and digital files compared. Every format an artist sells, from a 12 print to a $400 custom commission, comes with its own pricing logic. Here's how to get each one right. Ask 10 artists how they price a print versus a commission versus a digital file, and you'll get 10 different half answers, usually landing somewhere near whatever feels right. That instinct isn't wrong exactly, but it's incomplete. Because a 12 print, a one-of-a-kind original, a $400 custom portrait, and a $6 download aren't the same product wearing different price tags. Each one carries a different cost structure, a different buyer psychology, and a different amount of your irreplaceable time. And pricing all four the same way is how skilled artists end up working long hours for less than minimum wage. The fix isn't a single magic formula. It's understanding that prints, originals, commissions, and digital files are four separate businesses stapled together under one name, and each deserves its own math. Why one price for everything is quietly costing you money. Most artists start out pricing everything the same way. They pick a number that feels fair, apply it across prints, commissions, and files, and adjust up slightly when people don't flinch. The problem is that feels fair is measuring the wrong thing in 3 out of 4 cases. A print has a real material cost and a ceiling set by what a framed piece of paper reasonably sells for. A commission has almost no material cost but an enormous time cost, plus the emotional labor of managing a client's specific vision. A digital file has zero marginal cost after the first sale. You could sell 1 copy or 10,000 copies for the same amount of work. Treat these as the same pricing problem, and you'll systematically overprice the format that should be cheap. Prints, where buyers compare you to posters and print shops, and underprice the format that should be premium. Commissions, where your time is the entire product. Getting this right starts with separating the 4 formats mentally before you ever separate them on your storefront. Prints, priced against a physical, comparable market. Prints are the format where buyers have the most built-in price comparison. They've bought posters. They've bought framed art at a big box store. They have a rough sense of what a piece of paper on a wall should cost. That means your print pricing needs to account for 3 things: your printing and shipping cost, a reasonable margin, and where your size sits on the small to large spectrum. A 5x7 print competing with postcard pricing needs a different margin logic than a 24x36 statement piece competing with actual framed wall art. The trap here is pricing prints too low because they only cost a few dollars to print. But you're not selling paper and ink, you're selling your design compressed onto paper and ink, and the design cost needs to be baked into every size, not just the largest one. Digital files, priced for infinite resale, not as a cheap print. This is where the most undercharging happens. Artists often price a digital download as the print price minus the cost of printing, which sounds logical but misses the entire point of a digital product. It costs you nothing to sell it again. Once a digital file, a printable wall art file, a coloring page pack, a digital brush set, a Procreate template is finished, you can sell the same file to the first buyer and the 500th buyer with identical effort on your part. That means the price shouldn't be anchored to what would printing have cost, but to what is this design worth to someone who wants to print it, frame it, or use it themselves. A well-designed printable can reasonably sell in a similar range to a small physical print, precisely because the buyer is getting the same design. They're just doing the printing themselves. With a store you create in minutes, every digital file gets instant automatic delivery, so a customer pays and immediately has a secure download link on screen and in their inbox. No emailing files by hand, no waiting, which is exactly the kind of frictionless purchase that makes people buy on impulse rather than think it over and leave. The math that changes everything. A $9 digital file sold 40 times a month is $360 for 0 additional hours of work after the first sale. The same $360 from commissions might take 10-15 hours. Digital files are where volume, not per unit price, does the heavy lifting. Which is exactly why they belong priced for scale, not priced like a discount print. Commissions. The only format where your hourly rate actually matters. Commissions are the one format where guessing at a number based on vibes will hurt you the most. Because commissions are pure labor with almost no fixed materials cost. The fix is building your rate from the bottom up. Estimate realistic hours for a typical commission, including revision rounds, not just the final render. Multiply by an hourly rate that reflects your actual skill level. Then add a buffer for the client management time that never shows up in the hours spent drawing column, messages, mock-up approvals, file exports in 3 different formats, because they forgot to mention their printer needs a specific size. A commission that takes 8 hours of drawing time realistically eats 10-11 hours once you count everything around it. And pricing only for the drawing time is how commission work quietly becomes the worst paid thing an artist does, despite being the most personal and skill-intensive. Base rate. Hours to complete X your target hourly rate. Be honest about hours, not optimistic. Revision buffer. Build in 1-2 rounds of revisions as included. Then charge extra for anything beyond that so scope creep doesn't eat your margin. Perplexity premium. Multiple subjects, detailed backgrounds, or tight deadlines are real cost drivers. Price them as add-ons, not absorbed extras. Usage premium. A commission for personal use and a commission a client plans to sell merchandise with are different products. License terms belong in the price. Originals. The format where scarcity is the actual product. One-of-a-kind originals are the odd one out because scarcity itself is part of what's being sold. There is exactly one, and once it's gone, no amount of demand produces a second unit. That means original pricing can and should sit meaningfully above your largest print, reflecting both the physical materials and the simple fact that nobody else will ever own this specific piece. Many artists undercharge here too, treating an original as a big print plus a bit more, instead of recognizing that collectors and serious buyers are often willing to pay a real premium precisely because it's unrepeatable. If you're unsure where to start, price your original at 36x, your largest print price, as a starting anchor. Then adjust based on how the piece performs. Building a menu that makes all 4 prices feel obviously fair. The single biggest lever for making your commission and original prices feel reasonable isn't a clever sales script. It's simply having your cheaper formats visible on the same page. When a browser sees a $9 digital file, a $28 medium print, and a $350 commission slot listed together on one storefront, the commission price reads as premium but sensible rather than shocking, because there's context around it. That's the practical case for building out a full tiered menu rather than only ever posting your commission rate in a bio link. It turns a cold ask into a comparison, and comparisons are where reasonable pricing gets accepted instead of questioned. A store designer page with clean content blocks lets you lay out digital files, print sizes, and commission slots as separate products a buyer can browse and purchase directly, with built-in discount codes for launches or slow months. Instead of negotiating each sale individually in your DMs, list every format you sell separately: digital file, small print, large print, original, commission, and price each on its own logic, not a shared multiplier. Calculate your real commission hourly rate, including revisions and client back and forth, not just active drawing time. Set digital file prices based on design value, not print cost minus printing. They should hold up at high volume. Anchor originals at a clear multiple of your largest print price to reflect true scarcity. Publish all 4 formats on one storefront page so cheaper items give context to your premium ones. Revisit prices every few months as your skill, demand, and turnaround time change. A price list isn't permanent. A print, a commission, and a digital file aren't three versions of the same sale. They're three different businesses that happen to share your signature. None of this requires spreadsheets or a business degree. It requires treating each format as its own small decision instead of one blanket number. Once your pricing logic is sorted, the delivery side is the easy part. Connect Stripe or add a PayPal email, and buyers can pay with Apple Pay or Google Pay automatically. Money lands straight in your account, and digital files or commission deposits get delivered the instant payment clears. A live example store shows how a real creator lays out a mixed catalog like this on a single page without it feeling cluttered or confusing to shop. Key takeaways. Prints, originals, commissions, and digital files each have a different relationship between your time and your price. Treating them identically is the single most common way artists undercharge. Digital files should be priced for infinite resale, not as a discount version of a print. The cost of making the 500th copy is zero, so the price should reflect the design work, not the material. Commissions need a rate built from hours plus a skill premium plus a buffer for revisions, not a flat guess pulled from what a similar artist charges. Anchoring your storefront with a range, small print to full commission, makes your mid-tier offers look reasonable and gives casual browsers a lower friction way to become paying customers first. A tiered menu with clear, visible pricing removes the awkward back and forth of DM price negotiations and lets people buy the moment they decide they want something. Start your creator store free at store.fan.